Hey everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar. Happy New Year and all that good stuff. I'm with a young, awesome, really smart guitar player, Seth Taylor. This guy's been so busy with sessions throughout COVID that he's getting triple scale in his house. No, he's not, but he's been really busy and it's been hard for us to hook up. So I'm glad we finally did this. Quick announcement, a couple of them I want to thank. Trey Hensley for connecting us. Thank you very much, Trey. I appreciate that. And also make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com/subscribe to subscribe to the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, the little emoji that looks like a bell. That helps us get recommended by YouTube. And thanks for your support. Background on Seth. Grew up in the mountains of Western North Carolina. Not a surprise if you follow this show and follow bluegrassers. Started playing guitar at age 4 and entering flat picking contests around 9. He was a state champion in Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and also the Merle Fest champion. He joined his first touring band at 14, which was Pine Mountain Railroad, and he was playing banjo and guitar. Then he formed a band called Monroeville in high school, played every day with Monroeville at the Old Smoky Moonshine Distillery in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Man, you know, they don't have names like this in the Bronx where I grew up, the Old Smoky Distillery, for 2 years until he got offered a job with Mountain Heart. His first Grand Ole Opry performance was Mountain Heart at age 17. Since then, check this out. This is awesome, man. You should be really proud of yourself. He's played the Opry over 100 times with Mountain Heart, Dailey Vincent, Ricky Skaggs, Craig Morgan, Carly Pearce, and others. Carly Pearce, sorry. That's pretty amazing. I mean, you're like not even 30.
I feel like I'm 45 at this point, but
well, I do too. So we're both the same age. If you're not familiar with the band Mountain Heart, they're like a fun jam band with like a bluegrass core. Is that a reasonable way to describe you guys?
Yeah, pretty much. It's acoustic instruments with keyboards. So
yeah, but you guys are having fun. I didn't get the sense that everything is like structured and it's like very laid back, or else that's how it seems.
Yeah, it is. Over the last probably 5 years, it's kind of leaned more that direction. But it started out as a bluegrass band. Like they've been around forever.
Right.
I was a big fan as a kid, so I've seen it kind of change throughout, which has been cool. But yeah, it's pretty loose at this point. It's just a fun, like, jamming gig.
Yeah, it seems like you guys just, not that you're not taking the music seriously, it's right. Very serious, but you know, it just seems like you're having a great time there, man.
Yeah, it is.
Seth moved to Nashville in 2011. He immediately began working on sessions as an acoustic player and an acoustic guitarist and a utility guy. He started touring with Dailey and Vincent shortly after that in 2012, and he performed at, as I mentioned, the Ryman, Carnegie Hall, and the Library of Congress. Hey, does Carnegie Hall, I actually played there when I was very young.
I saw that, yeah.
Did they still have, like, you have to sign in the big book?
No. I don't think we did that.
Yeah, they had this, like, these tombs. They were like massive, like twice the size and 3 times the thickness of a phone book. And you had to just sign your name in there.
No, I wish we had done that.
It was really cool. It was, you know, I was like 13 or 14. It was just like, wow, this is, you know, you felt like, oh, this is history, but it was just nice, man. You know?
Oh, that's cool. No, they dropped us off, like, I think at like 7 a.m. outside the door. Like we had to have all our stuff right there at the door and ready to load in. We were already dressed. We were in suits at like 7 in the morning. Like,
oh wow,
it was crazy. But we did not sign the cool book.
Who is this? Who did you play there with?
It was Dailey and Vincent.
With Dailey and Vincent, right. The acoustics there. Did you get a chance to, like? I remember one of us. There was a bunch of kids. Some of us stood on top, and the other one stood on the stage, and then we switched.
Really?
Like the very top, the last row in the back. It was amazing, the acoustics there.
That's so cool. No, we didn't even get to. I didn't go out front at all. Like we had some time on stage, and then we were just in dressing rooms for most of the day. We had a rehearsal backstage somewhere. That the day was crazy. Like it was wild. But we didn't get. We got to take pictures on the stage when no one was on there, and that was like the coolest thing. But we didn't get to go out front.
Yeah, if you play next time, try that. It's just a lot of fun. It's like it's something you'll always remember because the acoustics are just that good there. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. What did you do there?
I played tenor saxophone, man.
Yes.
And I played in the the Bronx Borough-wide band, and I was just lucky that year. The concert was at Carnegie Hall, so it was like a one-off, just random luck. But it was one of the highlights of my like sort of musical career as a kid.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and being from New York, of course, it was like, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All righty. This was interesting. We're going to talk about this. In 2015, Seth rejoined Mountain Heart as an owner. And I want to talk to you about that. And I thought it was interesting. And thank you for sharing that. And they signed with Compass Records and have since released 2 top 10 Billboard Americana records. They've toured all over the U.S., performing at venues and festivals. He also formed a band with friends called the Wonderful Nobodies in 2018. Great record. It's their debut album is called AB, which was released last year, June of 2020. Really cool record. I would encourage everybody to listen to it. Most recently, like I said, he's been playing tons of sessions, especially since touring is basically shut down. Alongside sessions for other people, Mountain Heart is getting ready to record another record. They're about halfway through with that. And they're also halfway through another Wonderful Nobodies project. And he's also playing with his friend Sean Richardson. Check this out. There's a song on YouTube called Chisholm, Chisolm. Really beautiful song. And for those of you listening, Seth looks like a good-looking version of Jeff Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. What's up, man? Thank you so much. Thank you for being patient. I'm so glad we finally got to connect.
Yes, me too. I feel like we've been trying all of last year.
All of last year is pretty much about right, actually.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. I'm glad we're finally here.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Are you from a bluegrass family as well?
No, not really at all.
Interesting.
I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and I was the only one that started playing music at all, which is weird. But
yeah,
my like parents liked bluegrass, and my dad had a brother who played some, but he passed away before I was born. So it's kind of weird that I just kind of took to it as a kid. But
yeah, well, how did you get into it so young too? You started playing at like 4, I think it's right.
Yeah, I apparently just asked for a guitar when I was like 2 or 3 and got one for Christmas and just kind of drug it around all the time. And
no, how do you look at stuff like that? Like, this, and it was obviously like, whatever some people call it, destiny, God, higher power, random luck. How do you look at that? Because you obviously had this, and I don't mean this in any religious sense, but a calling, meaning you had something inside of you that really was a very good fit, but that you gravitated to that on your own at 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really weird. Like I remember just like watching like CMT and like music videos and Opry stuff. Like I loved that as a kid. Like, so I just kept a guitar with me, always just banging on it, like trying to make chords. And I mean, it was weird because no one else in the family did that. Like my siblings were into sports and other things. So they'd never had, like, none of the other kids wanted to play music at all. So it was weird.
So
but I remember just loving it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you take how did the bluegrass, what particularly got you into bluegrass?
Probably the guy I took lessons from when I think I was 5 when I started taking lessons from him. His name is Kevin Tuck, and he was a really big into bluegrass, super huge Tony Rice fan. And he was the first guy, like I'd try to do lessons with a couple other people, and they're like, he's too young, he can't, do anything. And this guy was like the first one who's like, yeah, he seemed super interested. I'll like show him what I know. That's
really cool. And good for that your parents were so open to put you in that at a young age.
Yeah. Yeah, they've always been like super supportive, like throughout, like even that early. They were like, he loves it. Let's just get him lessons, see what happens.
That's the number one, by far the number one most common characteristic that successful musicians have. They're support at home, by far. Yeah, before anything else. And I'm sure your parents will be listening to this. God bless you both for having 5 kids. I had 3. I barely survived, but you're like next level stuff. So you're patience of a saint.
Yep.
You got offered the gig Seth, with Mountain Heart when you were only 16. Was this something you wanted, or did that come out of nowhere? And how did they initially find out about you?
Yeah, I think I was 17 when they called for the gig, but I met Jim Van Cleve through Monroeville, and I knew like Aaron Ramsey and Josh Schilling. Like we had all met before, and we were all big fans of Mountain Heart. Like I said, like my whole life I was a big fan. But I met Van Cleve, who produced the Monroeville record. So like while we were cutting that record, we spent a ton of time in the studio with him, and that's how I got to know all those guys a little better. And then when their guitar player Jake Stargell was like kind of trying to leave, they were like, well, who do we call? And I had just worked with Jim a bunch on the Monroeville record, so he was like, we'll call Seth and see if he's interested. And they Mountain Heart had me as a guest at the Opry when I was 17, just to go backstage. Like that's all I wanted to do as a kid. I was like, I don't care if I play. I just want to go backstage and see how it all works.
That's
like,
so cool.
I was like obsessed with it.
That's great.
Yeah. So they had me as a guest, and Jake was still in the band, but Josh Schilling was playing piano on one song. So his guitar, he plays guitar and piano. So his guitar was just sitting there, and he was like, I don't know if we could get like clearance for this, but do you want to come out and like play if we can make it happen? And I was supposed to just be there as a guest.
Wow.
I like lost my mind, but they got me out to play, and that was like the unofficial audition for the band, I guess.
Like an impromptu sub.
Yeah. Yeah. And their guitar player was there. They were just doing this instrumental thing. They were like, come out and solo. It's in D. You don't really need to know it. Just jam.
That's amazing. What a good story.
Yeah.
But now you mentioned you're an owner in that, and I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, and if you don't want to talk about any of this, please just let me know. I assume you mean you're a band member as opposed to when you played with them or a kid, you were a hired gun, sideman.
Yeah. Yeah. We were kind of all hired guns when I joined the band. There was one guy who ran it, Barry Abernathy, and he had started it with a few people who were still in the band, but he was like the owner of all the business stuff. And he was kind of ready to move on and get out of it. And the rest of us wanted to keep it going, like instead of just letting it, fall apart. But
yeah.
So we bought the name and like the rights to everything back in 2015, I guess, or in 2014 we were working on it. But
that's really cool. I mean, that you had the opportunity to go through that at such a young age. That's what a great education about the business end of things.
Yeah, it's been crazy, like just going through all that stuff, like LLC and label stuff. And
sure.
Like it's been fun to learn just all that, because I didn't really know how any of it worked.
Yeah, I'm sure. Nobody does. How do you know that stuff? And you're not like born with the knowledge, unless you go through it. And usually you're going through it, it's like too late. You're like, you needed to know it, but so it's great that you had this education.
Yeah, for sure. And all the partners, like we all had to learn together, but they're all super smart too. And now it's just Josh and I are the two owners of the whole thing now, which is crazy, but
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's pretty
because
cool.
You could be in a position one day, if you keep the thing, you keep the engine running, you may want to turn around and sell it to somebody at some point in time.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're like, we don't tour that much as Mountain Heart, but we get to make fun records. And it's like, when we do play, it's the most fun. So
that's great.
Got to keep it going.
Yeah, man. That's great. Congratulations on all of that.
Yeah. Thank you.
What made you move to Nashville? And also, did you have like session work lined up before you moved, or did you just start getting busy once you got there?
It was pretty much once I got here. I didn't really have much lined up. I knew like Van Cleve and all the Mountain Heart guys, and I'd met a couple of producers through them who would throw me work like here and there. But I always wanted to move to Nashville. Like from the time I was little, my family used to come to CMA Fest.
Sure.
So I was like, when I turn 18, I'm moving to Nashville, like no matter what. And it just so happened that I got the job offer with Mountain Heart when I did, and it worked out. So I was able to, but The session stuff really, I didn't have a lot lined up. It kind of just started happening once I was here. And like, I met people through Mountain Heart. I met a couple engineers who would throw me stuff with other people. And you know how it is. Like, you just get connected to more people, every little thing you do. So I said yes to everything.
Right.
And I kind of still do. I'm like, I can make it work.
Well, I think guys like you who have done that, that's probably one of the reasons why you worked this whole pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, people say, hey, this dude's super reliable. I call him all the time. He's always saying, yeah. Now this is like karma, seriously, that's how I think, to me, that's kind of how that stuff sort of works. Yeah.
Lord, throughout the pandemic, we've been like super lucky, because I know a lot of guys who have not been able to work at all because they were just live guys. Like, they never dove into the session stuff. So I'm thankful I did that, like, throughout. Like, immediately when I moved to town, I was trying to do session stuff because I thought it was cool. But now it's like it's the main way to make money for a lot of us right now.
Oh yeah, there's no touring. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you've been able to do that. I'm glad you've been so busy, man. That's great. And feathering your cap for working and hustling.
Yeah, gotta hustle.
Yeah, man. And I mean, you really do in anything, and then sometimes you're like, well, what am I working so hard for? And now you know why. Because when something like, maybe could not go your way, it has,
Right.
So
exactly.
For you anyway, what are the biggest differences, whether it's good, bad, or whatever you want, between being a band member and being a sideman?
Oh, wow. Being a band member being a sideman, I guess, is great because you can just show up and do the gig and nothing falls on you really other than your performance. Right.
Right.
So that part of doing that is fun. I mean, I still do that. I'll show up and be a sideman, learn the songs, read the charts, and go home. Not really worry about anything. But I've really enjoyed being like an owner and like, booking travel and advancing the shows and like just seeing how all that works, talking to promoters and meeting all the people. Like, it's way more work when we go out with Mountain Heart than it is for like me with Dailey Vincent or something. Like,
sure,
a whole different thing, but I enjoy it. Like, I think it's really fun. You meet a lot of people. You kind of have to be more professional. Like,
well, yeah, you're in the traffic, man.
Right. Yeah. It's
traffic.
The pressure's weird though. Cause like if something goes wrong and like hotels were not booked under the right name or something like that falls on me. I'm like,
yeah, of course.
Figure it out. But I don't know. It's a way different thing just being a sideman versus being like an owner or member of something.
Do you have a preference?
I enjoy both, really.
Good.
I mean, being an owner, like in the Mountain Heart thing, it's cool when stuff pays off, like a show goes well, or
dude, is there a landscaper there or something?
There's something making.
All of a sudden, I'm like, either that or your neighbor's got the most powerful vibrator on earth and using it. I'm like, what the hell? It's all good. I mean, I don't judge,
It's something in the kitchen. Hopefully it goes, I don't know.
No, that's cool. We'll get through it. I was just like, what is it? That's cool. We'll get through it.
I was like, this is going to go well.
No, it's all good, man. So you like doing both and you'll keep your feet in both as long as you can.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, it's just fun. It's all different, but I enjoy sides.
It's probably hard once you're an owner, though. There's a sense of satisfaction, even though it's a pain in the ass. There's more stuff to do, but when it's over, there's a different sense of, man, I put this together.
Right.
That you probably don't have as just a sideman.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool. Like as a sideman, you get to be a part of the thing, but it's not like your thing. So
right.
To help that thing do well. But I don't know. It is different with your own thing, like with the Mountain Heart thing and the Nobodies. Like if something goes well or, people just like the records or whatever, it's like, oh, we did this. Like just we didn't have help. It's not under another umbrella or something. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think so too. Tell me about the Wonderful Nobodies. For me, this is like my favorite of all your projects. I thought it was really cool. And I have some questions about the record AB.
Okay.
The first one, I don't think I wrote this down, but you know, in marketing, there's something called an AB test.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where you compare two different variables on a sales page. Like maybe you're changing the headline or the photo or the price. So I was like, oh, because that's the only time I've ever seen written A/B. I've never seen it. So I was curious, and I'm thinking you guys probably aren't running AB split tests, so you're not familiar with that. Where did that come up with, the AB, that title?
Oh man, it's we threw around titles forever and could not settle on anything. And I think Lacey one day, she was like, what if it was just like AB, where like, and she came up with this whole like thing where it's like small town kids in a big city doing this, like AB, like, yeah. She came up with a bunch of little things like that. And we were like, oh, that makes sense. And then we wanted to release like 2 songs at a time, like side A, side B.
Bingo.
Which is what we did. Yeah. So we wanted it to be like a little digital 45 kind of thing. Cause like everything we listen to like together is all like music from the 70s and 80s. And like, we're like, it'd be cool to have little digital 45s. So I don't know. It was a weird title, and we're like, people are not really going to understand this, but we thought it was cool.
No, I think it's really cool. And it's interesting you mentioned Lacey. I looked at the photo of you guys. She's a tiny woman, but man, when that voice coming out of her, wow, man, she's so talented, man. Yeah,
she's insane. She's like, Aaron and I kind of grew up together, like playing at bluegrass festivals and like the IBMA and Spigma. Like we always used to jam together, and he did contests too as a mandolin player. And so I've known him pretty much my whole life, and his family. And then he was real tight with Lacey, like growing up. And I was never really around her that much. I met her after I moved to town here. I think she moved around the same time. But she's from North Carolina too. So it was weird that we were never in the same little circles, but yeah, they were. And then I knew him well. So once we were all in town, we started having these little jams, like every Friday night when people were in town. Cause I lived with Aaron at the time. We were renting a house. And we would have these jams, and it was like the 3 of us were always left at the end of the night, like just playing songs, like working on stuff. So we're like, it makes sense for us to kind of be a little band and like at least record and see what happens. So that's how it got started. It was just like a jam thing that turned into more, just because it was so much fun. We were like, we can't not do this.
Man, it's a great project. You guys are really tight. The music's really cool. Like I said, it's my favorite of all the things that you're doing.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah.
What, oh man, you know, I just realized this. I don't know if if you went there. This is right around the corner.
Oh, we did go there. Yes.
Great. It's closed now. They shut down.
Oh, really?
But not from COVID. They shut down about 2 or 3 years ago because it was this like whole scandal. I think the husband was having an affair, but it was the wife's dad's business. So then like somebody was stealing money and not paying him. I don't know, some big drama, but that's so funny that you went there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, if you're listening to the audio, my son bought me this years ago, a mug from Carnegie Deli. It's right around the corner from Carnegie Hall. So that's why I just showed Seth. What are you playing on the record instrument wise? Because I know you're kind of like a multi-instrumentalist.
Oh man, that thing, we recorded that whole record just like a piece at a time, basically.
Okay.
So it's all just, I think I played acoustics. I played some electric, like we did some weird banjo stuff, and I played a really out of tune upright piano part on it.
That's cool.
Yeah, because it was just the 3 of us. So Aaron was playing drums and bass and slide stuff. Like he's a great slide electric player.
That's unusual. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Lacey played guitar on just a couple songs, but it was mainly just the 3 of us like making noise, banging on stuff. Like
Oh, don't take anything away. That's a well-recorded record, man. It sounds
Yeah,
good. Yeah, it's really good. Do
you
you,
had a
do you
ball with it.
do you like playing electric as much as acoustic, or is acoustic your primary?
I enjoy acoustic more, I think,
That's what I
which is
thought.
weird, but
No, not really. I mean, no, it's not. You ask Brian Sutton what he enjoys more. He's not going to say, no, you're an acoustic guy. Yeah, no, it makes
yeah.
total sense. Yeah.
I try to be an electric guy sometimes, and I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. Like I can do it, I guess, but it's just kind of weird.
No, that's more common. The only guy I've ever met who's really comfortable on both that I've met, I'm sure there's a bunch out there. Chris Luquette?
Yeah.
He's really comfortable on both, man, and he's extremely proficient on both.
Oh
But
yeah.
most people are, you have a favorite,
Mm-hmm.
so.
And I get it's because I just grew up playing acoustic. Like I didn't even own an electric, I think, until I was 16 or 17. And
What
then
electric do you own?
I've got a Telly and a PRS thing. I've got a
Okay.
couple.
Dude, that's cool.
I had a country gig for a while where I was just playing electric.
All right.
And I didn't go on the acoustic shows when the artist did acoustic shows, and that like killed me. I was like, that's what I'm like actually good at.
Why wouldn't he put you on the acoustic shows?
I wasn't utility guy in the band. He already had a guy doing it. So I was just electric.
That's weird.
So weird for me. Yeah.
Who set you? I mean, you would think the person who set you up on that gig would maybe have told you or whatever, told them.
Well, I mean, for his acoustic thing, it was like fly dates and it was a stripped band. So the acoustic guy was singing and like playing a bunch of different parts.
Okay.
But it made sense. Like I wasn't mad about it. It was just odd.
Well, you know who you are if you're listening. This man needs to get on acoustic. Couple of songs on that record, male vocals. Are you singing there or is that Aaron?
That's Aaron.
Yeah, he's got a good voice, man.
Yeah.
I had a question. Who's playing slide on Sophia? That's killer. That's Aaron, I guess.
That's Aaron, yeah.
Dude, that was really good.
He's really like he grew up like a mandolin player. So he toured and did that thing for a while. And then like I didn't see him for a couple years. And then like I didn't even realize he was just good at everything after that. Like he plays drums, like bass, electric stuff. Like it's like, when did you just get really good at everything?
Yeah, that's pretty unique. You don't have rhythm section guys usually playing that well on guitar.
Right. Yeah.
That's not common. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this is a tough question, but knee-jerk reaction. 3 favorite sessions that you've done so far. Top 3 sessions.
Oh, whoa. That's going to be hard because it's like I've worked with so many of my favorite session guys in different little sessions. That's going to be hard to say. I did the Dailey Vincent Christmas record, and Matt Rawlings was session leader. He's just like a great piano player, like super smart musician. And that was pretty cool because like I'd never gotten to work with him and always heard how great he was. And he was just so good.
That's cool.
It was so easy to play with. That whole crew was great. It was Tony Creasman, Matt Rawlings, me, Kevin Grant was on bass. Like it was just a great crew. I think James Mitchell was on electric.
Okay.
So that was really fun. And it was Christmas songs, which I mean.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah. So that was cool. I love doing like the Mountain Heart Records session. Like the last one, we just spent a week in the studio and took our time and made that record. So I thought it was fun because it was like, again, it's like your thing. So
right. Where do you record typically for that?
That was at Compass.
Okay.
Compass Records, yeah. The one before that we did in Asheville, North Carolina at Eric Wilson's house, who was our front of house guy, but he toured with Skaggs and Alison Krauss. Like he's one of the old guys who did front of house for all those bands. But I don't know. Okay, top 3. There's 2. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I know.
It's really hard because like I don't know, getting to work with James Mitchell and that crew is always great too. We've done a bunch of stuff at this point. Yeah, I don't know.
How about live performances?
Oh,
Favorite live performances?
man. Getting to play, like venue-wise, getting to play a full show at the Ryman was really cool for the first time. Because it was, I mean, we've done the Opry there a bunch, but getting to do like a whole set of music in that room was really cool.
And that was with Mountain Heart or Dailey and Vincent?
That was Dailey and Vincent. Yeah. We did an Almond Brothers tribute set at Floyd Fest last year.
Really?
In 2019. Yeah, Mountain Heart did. So it was like a 4 in the afternoon, I think 3 or 4 o'clock. And it was at a side stage, but no one was on the main stage at the time.
Okay.
So
everybody came to see you, basically.
Everybody came to this like tribute show, and we had worked on it. We played it one other time before that.
Right.
So we had like B3. I've got like tube screamer on acoustic. Like
you had a tube screamer on acoustic. That's so funny. Did you play electric that day? Were you playing like a Les Paul or something?
No, because it was supposed to be like a stripped like acoustic.
Okay.
But we had B3, so
right.
It was part of it. But that was one of the most fun sets I think we've ever played, because it was like, I mean, it was hot. It was in July. Weather was great.
Where is that held?
Floyd, Virginia.
Wow, that's got to be brutally hot, man. Especially the way it's been the last few summers, man.
Yeah, it was warm. And we did 2 days at the festival. So we played on Friday, I think we did a Mountain Heart set at the same stage, just all our music. And then it was like, all right, party sets tomorrow. So, and it was a blast. Like,
that's so cool.
An hour and a half of just Almond Brothers stuff.
What's your favorite Almond Brothers track?
My favorite one I played live was what's it called?
Oh yeah,
Southbound.
Southbound, yes, yeah.
That's the most fun when we played. I love Melissa and like. Yeah,
I was thinking about Melissa because when you said acoustic, obviously that's the one that comes to mind. That's a beautiful song, man. It's not easy to play either.
No, and that was when our agency was like, what could we pitch y'all to do, like some kind of specialty set? And Josh grew up, loving the Almond Brothers, but he's a keys guy. So he always played, B3 and sang all that stuff. But the rest of us, I mean, we didn't know it. I mean, I knew their music, but I wasn't like,
yeah, but you didn't grow up with them. You're too young. Yeah. Yeah.
So our thing was like, we have to learn this, learn it exactly how they did it. And then, kind of expand on it or do our own thing. So I had to dive in like for a while, just learning guitar parts. And like in that band, there were, 2 guys covering a lot of those parts. So it was like me and like our mandolin player, like matching up on stuff, trying to cover, the double guitar stuff. Like it was a lot to figure out there for a while, but gosh, it was fun to learn.
Yeah, and because those guys were very well rehearsed and incredible, whether it was Warren Haynes or Dwayne Allman, whoever was in the band, or Derek, they were so tight, and it was all improv, but they worked so well together.
Right. Yeah.
Good band, man. Yeah, Southbound's a great song.
Yeah, it's real fun to play.
Hey, what do you look forward to doing more of moving forward, assuming COVID's on its way out?
Hopefully.
Well, man, I mean, it can't go on forever. They got to do something here.
No, I mean, playing live, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was gone. So, I mean, that'd probably be the main thing. I would love to be just touring a lot again. Because I talk about it with buddies all the time. We're like, we didn't really know that we liked it that much. Like, it seemed like more of a job before, but now we're like, can we please go anywhere to play a show? Yeah,
I'm sure.
So probably that.
And the Zoom, when you're doing like, even if it's live, the vibe is not, the warmth that you share with others
Oh
it's
my
just,
God.
yeah, the audience is not there, I'm sure.
Man, Sean and I started doing a couple like live stream things when everything was shut down. And we did probably 3 or 4, and they were so fun, but it was just like, you're just looking at a computer and you're
I know.
trying to read comments and like interact, and it's just not the same.
The energy is missing, man. That's the thing. You don't feel that energy. Are we doing well? Are we not doing well? Do they like? What do they like? You know, it's like, and then you're like, oh, hold on. You got to read comments. It's like that's not fun. It's a job, man.
Oh my gosh. The first one we did, we couldn't tell if we were live for about 3 or 4 minutes.
That's
So
awesome.
it was just like,
hello.
yeah. I think it's like, no.
I know. That's what happens, man. I know.
Oh yeah.
Well, I hope you get to play soon, man.
Yeah. And just, I love doing sessions. Like when you're tracking with a full band of great players, like that's the most fun.
Who's some of your favorite electric guitar players that you've done sessions with?
I love James Mitchell. Like he's great. I did a session a few years ago with Rob McNelly.
Oh, Rob's awesome.
Yeah.
As a guy, as a dude, and as a player.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's great. Jeff King's great. I get to work with him some.
I talk to him pretty regularly. I met him just through the show. We connected and we stayed in touch. He's a great guy. One of the kindest human beings I've honestly ever met in my life.
Yep. And hilarious.
Yeah. Did he any jokes on you?
Yes. I was booked for this session in Hendersonville at Oak Tree.
In Hendersonville, North Carolina?
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah. And I knew it was like a full band thing, but I didn't know who was on the session. I just finished. And I didn't know. So he was on the session. Right. I didn't know it. He texted me the morning of that session. He was like, "Hey Seth, I've got a track. It's an NFL thing. I'd like to get you on, but I need you here like right now." And he like told me how much it was going to pay. It was he was like, NFL, it's this huge thing. Like, can you make it happen? And I was like, well, let me see what I can do. So I was like trying to cancel the session I was already booked on because.
Oh my God.
I was like, can I get there a little late? Or, it was Jeff. He was already at the session.
Right.
Like he got there early and found out who all was on it. He was like, "Oh, I'll prank Seth today."
Oh my
God.
I
was like, "And I'm sorry, I'm booked on this thing already. I'd love to make it happen." And he just kept trying. He was like, "Well, could you move it? Could you like push
Oh my
back?"
God. That's so funny.
No, because again, I say yes to everything. I try to make everything work.
Especially a big gig like that where you're getting good exposure, good people, good cash, Yeah.
Yep. So it did not.
How did you know? When did he tell you that he was messing with you?
I showed up and saw his car there. I walked in. He was like, "Man, you're supposed to be downtown. We're doing the NFL thing like right now." I was like,
"Oh my God, that is funny."
Yeah,
he's good like that.
He did a lot of stuff. Like already, I've worked with him a good bit, and it's always like that was the first one he got me with, but he's always just, trying to get something over on someone.
Yeah, he's a good guy. It was funny. The first time he was playing with Reba down here, and he gave Ann and I like VIP passes. So my wife really likes Reba. We're waiting online to see Reba, and my wife, we're talking, and she keeps like shaking her head, and I didn't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, I feel this like somebody was near me, and I look up, it was Jeff walking the whole way. I was just talking to my wife, looking here, and he was just tracking us the whole way, and she was trying to say, "Hey man, there's some dude following us." It was him, and I'm not big. I'm only 5'9", and he's very tall, so he had been looking down and was like, "Holy crap." Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good awesome guy. Good guy to work with. McNelly's great as well.
Yeah, man, there's so many. Saul.
Yeah, with the two last, Phil Cox, Little. Yeah.
He's doing every session, I feel like, right now. And he's like, working with him. His tone is so good. Like, he's quick. Just
he's quick. Yeah, well, man, he came over here like when he was 15 or something like that on his own from England.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really young.
And he studied, like he lived with Brent Mason for a while or something.
Yeah, right? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Brent's great, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he still doing sessions?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the younger guys are kind of, you know, trickling in a little more.
Oh, yeah.
But he's still busy when he wants to be, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're working with some great guys, so I mean, you must be doing all the right things, man. They don't put scrubs on those sessions, man. So you know, and again, seriously, feather in your cap, you know.
Man, I always feel like the guy who doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, I'm just gonna be quiet over here and play acoustic, but
yeah, but you know what? That's music. You're probably gonna always. I talk to guys that are double in your age, and they all feel. Everybody feel. How do you feel like you know what you're doing on a guitar?
Right.
I mean, no matter how quote great, I'm sure Eddie Van Halen was practicing, you know, was overwhelmed. Like, man, I have so much more to know.
Right.
You know.
And I saw the interview with Sutton where he was talking about like feeling like he didn't deserve to be in that spot or whatever. But
yeah,
it's like I'm that guy every time. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be here. I'm here because Sutton's busy or something. Like,
did you get? You know, I bought that book he talked about the mental. It's like has to do with tennis, but it's really relevant to anything you do.
Yeah, I have not. I need to, but
it was pretty. I haven't read. I have to admit, I started it and I stopped and I haven't picked it up, but I need to pick it up. It's not a big book, but it was pretty relevant. It was just about the mind stuff, that we all tricks we play we tell ourselves,
Very cool.
Yeah, it was good. That was interesting.
Oh yeah,
man, I don't know if this is relevant to you, but I'll ask anyway because you're young and hopefully you haven't had a lot of these. But any low points or dark periods you've had to deal with in life, and how'd you get through them?
I mean, not really. I mean,
great.
I've went through like, times where we're not busy or something. I don't like that. So
yeah,
I get
of course.
just like, what do you do? But nothing really major. I mean, I've got a great family and great group of friends here in town. Like I've been pretty lucky to not go through anything super crazy. I mean, stuff doesn't work out like you want it to always, but yeah. I'm the king of glass half full. I feel like I'm probably annoying to a lot of people because I'm like, it's not going to be that bad. It's going to work out. Like,
but that's the truth of it. It always works out.
Oh yeah.
I had this client many, many years ago, and he told me one time, and I'll never forget it. He said, Craig, there's a dirty 4-letter word that makes everything work. And I said, what is it? He goes, it's time, Time. And I always thought about that after he told me that, because there was situations where stuff happens in life. You just can't, Yeah. And I had to say, man, I know this is going to be better in time. But then sometimes it's like so long, you're like, man, I need to get in a time box to just get me to the end, push me up 6 months, a year, because it's a pain in the ass to go through whenever negative stuff happens. But I think, my opinion, I think being the way you are is smart. Because if you're optimistic, you're more likely to have an optimistic outcome. If you're pessimistic, I think, just my opinion, I think you're more likely to have a pessimistic outcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'll try to be like that.
I know. I try. I'm like, everything's fine. It's gonna work out.
Somehow. It is, man. It always does.
Oh yeah. That's the whole thing with the pandemic. Me and Sean, like when everything was just looked like the end of the world, like there's no dates on the calendar, there's no sessions, like nothing. We were like, we're gonna make this work somehow. Like we're gonna figure out who to do sessions for or play with or whatever, and like just work it out.
But I would imagine that's a big reason why it has worked out for you and Sean, as opposed to this is it, man, nothing's ever, because that's a vibe you put out.
Oh yeah. Oh, we were depressed for a couple of weeks. We're like, this is awful. What do you do?
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, just figure it out. See what you can do.
I think that's great, man. Congratulations to you. I think that's really good.
Thank you.
Write down a note here. You just gave me your quote for the interview. Things always work out. I just want to make sure I put that down.
I like it.
Yeah, man. I always
actually, when we were like, we didn't have anything going on, like in June, probably, we bought a pedal steel.
Oh, that's cool. Probably got it cheap if you bought it.
It was
that time.
cheap. Yeah, it was pretty cheap. Yeah, it was here in town. I went and picked it up, but that was our project for a little while. We're like,
learn pedal steel.
Learn steel. I tried and I was not. I can like barely get around. Sean has like mastered it already.
That's pretty good in a short period of time, man.
Oh yeah, he's doing sessions on steel. Like,
wow.
Already replaced. Like, already got a new one. Like a show bud from the '70s. Like, it's a part. We've done live stuff with it already.
It's pretty cool.
It's hilarious.
Wow. It's funny. I've talked to so many, not funny. It's unfortunate, but I've talked to so many guys on the show that are either working or, you know, they're okay financially.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, man, I just picked up this 335 for like X amount of money. Like, where the hell did you get it? Like Nashville Craigslist. And I like guys from Kentucky, guys from like Northern Florida, you know, they're like, cause it's not that far a drive from any of these places. So they're like, so I signed up on Craigslist now because I know people there, and for something to happen, I said, man, could you go check that guitar out for me? And I'll buy it. Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I hate this.
Like marketplace.
Yeah.
That's where we found the steel. I think it was a marketplace listing.
Oh, on Facebook, Facebook Marketplace. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about guitars for a few minutes. I know before we started, you said you're not a guitar guy, but trust me, you're a guitar guy. Listen to your own playing. You'll know you're a guitar guy. Let's talk about acoustic, because that's your thing primarily. What's your go-to guitar right now, and what other two maybe make up your top three?
I've got a Collings D2H that I've played for, I think, 10 years. I got it new, and it's always just been like the main guitar for me throughout my whole like professional career, I guess.
That's great.
Yeah, I play it. A couple weeks ago, I did my first session, this record, without using that guitar at all. And I didn't realize it until the end, because it was Sean was on the session. We were both playing acoustics and kind of just figuring out, you know, textures that worked for two acoustics instead of just, you know, one guy playing.
That's unusual that you have two acoustics on.
It was. It's like it's an Americana thing, and we're always like pushing to work together because we enjoy playing and like work well with each other. So we finally got to do a session where it was two acoustics, like track at the same time. And yeah, that was the first session I didn't do with that guitar. So I've always just used that. It's a Dreadnought, just Collings guitar. How
come you didn't have the guitar with you?
I had it there, but he's got one of those too. So he played that some, and then I was playing a OM for a lot of it, and he had another small body thing with just dead strings that was just working for these songs.
Right.
So I had it there, and I just never picked it up, which was so weird. And I didn't really realize it until the end. Like the last couple songs, I was like, I've not played that guitar at all, and I've never not played it. Because usually, even if I'm stacking, it's like that's usually the first guitar I'll lay down is that Collings, and then, you know, put something else with it. But yeah, that's the main one. I've played it live and on sessions for forever.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What's number 2 and 3 for you?
I got another Collings a year and a half ago, I guess. It's a small body OM1T, I think is what it is. And we talked to Steve from Collings at Merlefest that year. I think it was 2018. 2018. We saw him there, and he was like, man, you've played your big guitar for years. Like, do you need something else? And I had been looking for small body guitars. Like, I was just kind of wanting one. And he had me go try a bunch, and then they sent a couple. I decided what model I wanted, and then he sent a couple, and I ended up with one of them. And I've used it since I've had it. I've used it on a lot of stuff.
So you like it? That's cool.
I like it, yeah.
It's funny when you're saying, Steve said, is there anything else we could give you? Like, you're going to say, no, I'm good. What guitar player is going to, there's no guitar player who said, I have too many guitars, no thanks.
I'm not in the market right now.
Yeah.
We're all looking for something. Like,
of course, man. You know, it's so funny.
yeah, he was like, I mean, I didn't get it just for free, but he was like, you probably need something else, don't you? I was like,
Yeah, but it's going to make you a deal that makes it worthwhile. And, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's a good one. I've used it on a lot the last couple years.
That's great.
I really don't have like that many acoustics. I've got a like a 66 D28.
Okay.
I'll use sometimes. And then I've got a Henderson that I've got strung up like the Nashville tuning high strung thing.
Yep.
So I always have that for sessions. And that's pretty much it.
And when you're playing electric, what do you prefer, the Tele or the PRS?
I like the Tele.
Yeah.
The PRS.
Is a Fender Tele or a Nash Tele?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a couple, like I had a Nash Strat for a while, and I don't know. Again, I'm just not really a big electric guy, so I can get by with just a couple.
Totally get it, man. I totally get it. What are you playing out of amp-wise when you're playing acoustic?
I've got nothing really. I don't really use an amp for acoustic. I use a Grace Designs DI, like a preamp thing.
Yeah. And
then I run a little board. I run like a Verb and some stuff on that. But usually for the Mountain Heart stuff, like live stuff, I'll run a pickup with that DI and then a DPA mic too.
Okay.
So I'll put in 2 lines where it's a little more natural. Kind of sounds like an acoustic.
Sure.
But I've never ran an amp with acoustic. I know a lot of guys do. Like John Stickley is a really great acoustic guy.
I had him on here, man. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. Didn't he just have a baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a North Carolina, Western North Carolina guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a real trip, man, because he's like he created a genre sort of.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
That day we did the really fun set at Floyd Fest. His band was there too, so we got to go there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He's a hustler too, man. He works really hard.
Oh yeah.
You know, he does all the same thing, like you're talking, booking gigs and getting everything set up. And it's, when you're John Stickley Trio, you got to be doing that, You
got to be the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. When you play electric, what do you play out of amp-wise?
I've got a Shaw 209A, I think is the one I have.
He's in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's like kind of like a little Princeton type thing.
Yep. I've spoken to several guys that play his amps.
Yeah, he's great. He wanted to mod my amp for steel. I had to take it over and get some work done to it.
Did you?
He's like, let me mod it for steel if y'all got a steel. Like, I was like, it's not that much of a thing yet.
Well, that's good though. But people that are like that take pride in it's kind of like probably you saying if someone changes the nature of the ending of the song, you're like, hey man, let me just fix the track up for you.
Right. Exactly.
It's like when you have good work ethic, it's like, it's a pleasure to do stuff like that,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He builds like great DIs for acoustic too. Like I know I learned about his stuff through Ricky Skaggs because I did a month and a half. I was filling in for his acoustic guy for a while, and he had this giant Shaw DI that it sounded great on his stuff. And then he had a Shaw amp and like a couple other things. He was like, you need to check this guy out. Like, and then Mark Fain was using his stuff for bass.
Okay.
I was like, this is who to call.
Yeah. So you got to turn on to those guys.
Yeah.
Another tough question, and you might have answered it already. Favorite musicians you've enjoyed playing with?
Oh man, I've worked with all of them. I feel like like all of my favorites. Like, I mean, the Mountain Heart crew has always been so talented. Like every guy that's came in and out of the band, I feel like they're all much better musicians than me.
Sure.
So I feel lucky to have been involved with all of them. And then like, I don't know, working with all the session guys I mentioned, like they've all been great. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's so good in like different ways. It's hard to pick a favorite,
It is, especially in Nashville, man.
Yeah, I did get to. I filled in with Skaggs for his Musicians Hall of Fame.
Oh, that must have been pretty cool.
It was cool. The performance was with Bruce Hornsby.
Oh, cool, man.
I'm the biggest fan, so getting to.
You're a big Hornsby fan.
Yeah. Oh,
did
yeah.
you ever? Do you know he's not in Nashville anymore? But did you know George Marinelli?
No.
He plays with Oh man, this is terrible. Great blues, slide blues guitar, Bonnie Raitt, sorry.
Yes.
And he's been with her forever, but he used to live in Nashville. But he started, he was Bruce Hornsby's first guitar player.
Oh, wow.
And Bruce Hornsby in the Range, yeah.
I'm sure I've heard him.
Yeah, he just left Nashville recently, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that actually may be a favorite, getting to play with him.
Getting to play with Bruce Hornsby? Yeah, I would imagine if you like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth, give me your top 3 Desert Island discs just for this moment. Because obviously that's, of course, yeah, man. That's why I said man. just for right now, because that changes all the time.
It really does. I listen to everything. Like I try to listen to everything. So that's really hard. I really love the Last Waltz thing. So that live record.
That's a beautiful record, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful record.
Man.
You know what? Surprisingly, that's the first time I've heard that.
Really?
Yeah, it's an amazing record.
It's the best.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
We used to watch that on the bus, like I feel like at least a couple times a month that would be on, just because we were all real obsessed with it.
That's one of my goals this year. I want to try to get Robbie Robertson on the show.
Yes, yeah. That'd be awesome.
I'm putting this out to the universe. If you could someone listening could hook me up with Robbie, please.
Get in on.
Go to my website, go to the contact form, and let me know, because I'd love to connect with him, man.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, I really love the Casey Musgraves record, Golden Hour. I think it's great. Dang, another record. Maybe George Jones' Cold Hard Truth, just because there's a fiddle intro on one of the songs that kills me.
Cold Hard Truth by
George Jones.
Okay.
Have you heard it?
I have not. That's why I wanted to get it, because you sounded really excited about it. I'm going to check it out.
It's a Nashville like studio guy like record. Like all the playing is just great, but it's like Stuart Duncan's on fiddle, and it's real good for country. It's real country, but
no, I'll check it out for sure, man.
Yeah.
Cold Hard Truth, George Jones. Thank you. All right, tell me 1 or 2 things that you've done or changes you've made, 1 or 2 changes you've made that have had the biggest impact on your life. Could be personal growth, musically, professionally, spiritually, anything that was important to you at the time.
Oh man, that's tough too. I feel like just moving to Nashville was a big thing, because I mean, like we were saying, I didn't really have a lot lined up. I had a gig, which was great, but I didn't really have a lot of other stuff going on. So once I was here, it was just like, you got to figure it out and make it work. Like whatever that is, like saying yes to random sessions or shows or whatever. I feel like just being here, like kind of on my own, was a big deal. It changed. It just made me work harder, I guess.
Well, man, if you're going to make it there, you got to. There's too many people right behind you, breathing right down your back and ahead of you. That, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was just a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. I would say. Best childhood memory.
Ooh, man, there's so many. Like I said, I was the youngest. So
youngest of 5. That had to be cool. Like that, you had to always have company.
Oh my gosh, it was our house was crazy always. Cause
How could
like
it not be 5 kids?
yeah, certain siblings were like doing sports. Like my brother was driving a dump truck from the time he was like 17 on. Like we were always just like, my parents are into everything too. So we like, they have gardens and like, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it was fun growing up just around that whole crew. But we used to do the CMA Fest thing every year, and my sisters like loved that. I loved that. That was like a highlight of the year for us growing up.
Doing the CMA Fest.
Yeah. It was always fun. Like even now I've got to play it a few times with different people, and now it's so big and just like, you know, crazy.
Do they still come out though?
No, they will. They hate if they miss it. And we missed it a
cool.
couple of times. But yeah, somebody from the family's always here for CMA Fest.
That's great. Do any of your siblings live in Nashville?
No, they're all in North Carolina.
Wow, so you're the only one. Baby brother did good, man.
He moved away. I'm the only one. They all live so close together, like still. So I'm the only one that's like not there, you know, every Sunday for the meal.
Yeah, but you've done so well for yourself, man. You couldn't have done that in where you grew up.
No, they know. Like I talked about moving to Nashville forever, so it was not a surprise when I took off.
Well, you done good, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Who's been the biggest influence on you musically and then also personally?
Oh man. Personally, probably just my family. Like they're always, you know, trying to we're always trying to keep each other's heads on straight.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, probably them personally. Musically, man, I've tried to learn from everyone I've worked with, like something, like with Josh and Van Cleve through the Mountain Heart thing and Aaron Ramsey. Like they're all just great musicians. And then getting to see like how Skaggs works, like with his band, and like
that's got to be like a well-oiled machine, no?
It is, yeah.
Because he's had a lot of people passing in and out of there, and it's always tight like a drum, man. It's
yeah. And like I felt like I got thrown into that, and I was like, I'm not ready like for that kind of gig. And it was just I fill in with him on the Opry here and there, but just like seeing how, like, if you're not playing the part how it should be played, he'll like just tell you. He'll be like, hey, try this. I think this is what we're doing on the record. And so kind about it. Like, not like, hey, you're wrong, don't do that.
That's nice, man.
Yeah. So getting to work with it, just see how he does stuff is really cool.
Have you ever played anything or done anything with Doyle Dykes?
No, I haven't.
Do you know who he is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a great acoustic. He's a great acoustic player, man.
Yeah. I've seen him. It's been a long time, but I feel like we saw him at a festival or something.
He's been around forever, man. He's been playing guitar since he was a young kid. He grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, but he's a super cool guy, and he's amazingly talented, man. I've seen him play live a couple of times too. Good guy. Awesome. And I know he's good buddies with Ricky. That's the only reason I thought of him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was working that Americana record we're working on right now. We're doing it with Mark Fain, who was in Ricky's band for.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So he was telling us all kinds of good stories.
About Doyle?
About Skaggs and like working with Ry Cooter and just that crew, which was pretty funny and cool.
Yeah, those guys have been around. They play with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Most important thing your dad taught you?
Probably just to work real hard. He's always just been the hardest worker, like just diving into anything, figuring anything out. I mean, yeah, he's like, you can do whatever you want and just work hard and make it happen. So
that's cool. And you did.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying.
Yeah, man. How about your mom? Most important thing she taught you?
The same thing, really. And just to be nice to people. She's like, don't be an asshole.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah, they're funny.
You have any hobbies outside of music, Seth?
I Not really. I like to kayak and get outside and do stuff like that in the summer, but I feel like all the hobbies are kind of attached to music in one way or another, because all my friends here, players, are involved in music somehow too. So we're all still kind of centered around music.
Favorite place you've traveled?
Oh man, I love being out west, like anywhere really.
Like Colorado, Oregon, places like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, the weather is so nice there, isn't it?
Oh,
no great. Humidity at all.
So good. There's a festival in Flagstaff we play every couple of years, and it's just like, it's warm during the day and then just cool at night. It's like just the best.
That's cool.
I like it out there. I got to go to Switzerland and Germany with DNV probably 5 or 6 years ago now.
Wow. What was that like?
It was great. We were there for, I think, a little over a week, just playing different venues around like Zurich and Stade and all over there. It was cool, like, just to see it all.
I don't know how, but I follow somebody or something on Instagram that's always got pictures of Switzerland, and it just looks like every fantasy Christmas special you ever saw when you were a kid on TV.
Oh, yeah. It is like, we went to
pretty.
This place. It's called Glacier 3000, I think, and you have to ride this gondola thing up the mountain forever, just in the snow. Like it was the craziest thing. So yeah, I mean, you should go.
Yeah, it's on my list. I have honestly like 1 million miles on like travel points. So we're figuring to plan a couple of vacations from that. One of them would be to Europe, Switzerland, and stuff like that. My wife's from England, so she's been around there a few times, but not to Switzerland. Right. Yeah.
Oh man, we went to Paris last year, like right around Christmas too, for this show, and it was a really quick trip. Like we were there, I think 2 days total. Like
that's not. It's like such a tease, man.
Yeah, we were beat, but we went out and like tried to see as much as we could while we were there. But
I'd like to go there too. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I hear about like Paris. The trick to seeing those places is fly into someplace else, and then take the train or, like a Ryanair, a little jet between the two, because just doing that apparently cuts your air fees like in half at least, because I guess it's really pricey to fly into Paris.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we were covering that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's a nice thing about.
That was
Sideman
gigs right there. That was
right.
The old Sideman.
Yeah. How much doesn't matter. This would be a good one with you. Tell me the funniest or most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on stage or in the studio.
Okay, I drop my pick in my guitar all the time.
God,
all the time. Like, I sat down. It was a session last year. First song. It was a great crew. It was like Duncan Mullins, I think, was on bass. Andy Leftwich was there. Like,
Andy's a nice guy. I had him on his show.
Yeah,
he's a sweet kid. Yeah.
But the first song we were tracking, and my pick went in the car. And then, there was like cameras on you. So in the control room, I know they're just watching. Like I'm shaking the guitar for like a minute, loud, like not that's that bad, but it happens to me quite often. Which it's a joke now because I'm like, of course, I let go of the pick, and there it is.
That's funny, man. No, I could see it being like funny and humorous.
Yeah,
that's good, man.
I haven't had anything too bad happen on stage. I've done the same thing. I've dropped picks live, but I haven't like fallen off a stage or anything yet.
Can you play with the pick in the guitar?
Yeah, but I don't keep another one in my pocket or anything like I should.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Yeah.
Just grab another one, right? Makes sense.
I would think. I don't know. I'm not a professional, so I don't know these things.
Yeah.
Two more questions, man. What's the best advice you've ever been given, if you can remember it, and who gave it to you?
Oh man. I feel like in the session world, for some reason I remember this, like, and I don't remember who said it, but one of the first things I did when I was in town, someone was just like, be on time and like be early and like be nice. They're like, you'll work forever. Like, just be reliable. I was like, that makes sense and it works.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only reason I get called is because usually I show up. I've missed a couple things and it is the worst feeling ever, like double booked or whatever.
Yeah.
I tried to not do that, but
well, especially when you got guys like King and Rob that have been doing this forever, and they're the first guy in there, you know, every time.
Yeah, it may have been Jeff that said that too. Like, I think it may have been just
That's
like
interesting.
be on time. Like, yeah, I'm like, well, that's good advice for session guys. Cause I mean, I did one a couple weeks ago where the bass player just didn't show up and couldn't get a hold of him. And luckily I don't think I've been that guy yet, but
wow,
he felt the worst. Like his phone died or something. He didn't plug it up, didn't wake up. I'm like, I feel
man, he won't get a call from that producer unless they've had a, you know, a lifelong relationship. And it was
right.
Like, wow.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy.
No, not fun.
No. But I'll tell you what, you know, musicians in general, I've had almost 800 interviews. I can count on one hand the amount of guys that were either late or just missed. Mm-hmm. I think that's to be a professional. That's part of the territory, man. You've got to be pretty responsible. And that's been my experience, you know?
Yeah, totally. I've been late to stuff too, but I try to not let it happen.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't happen a lot, man. It's just, you're not going to keep getting the calls.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, and last question, what is the most important lesson that you've learned in life so far, either just living or through your business or anything you want to talk about?
Man, I feel like I keep saying the same things, but like,
it's all right.
Just working hard. I feel like it pays off. You get like drained and like you said, you're like, what am I working so hard for? Like, why am I doing this? But then it somehow seems to pay off. So
you get that call, man. It's like going to the gym, you know, you go for a week and you kill yourself. You're like, oh, I'm not seeing any results.
Yeah.
You go for 2 weeks and you still don't see any results. Maybe after a month you see a little bit, but 6 months down the road, people are like, man, you look great. That's right, man.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, dang.
Yeah, I look great. I go to the gym every day. Hey, let me tell people, first of all, thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad that you're patient. I'm glad we get to connect. I really appreciate it. And you'll be on this show again, man. You're going to have a great career ahead of you. And I'll be excited to follow it as it goes along.
I appreciate it.
No, yeah, man. It's a pleasure. I want to tell people some of the stuff you've got going on. I would love everybody listening to check out what Seth's involved with. He's a really talented player and he's a nice guy, as you hear, and he's on time. First of all, the lovely band, man, the Wonderful Nobodies. Their album out is called AB. You guys are working on something else, you said, halfway through?
We are probably a little over halfway. I think we've got around 9 songs tracked, which we've done throughout 2020. So
yeah, that's great.
Sending parts back and forth, but
that's great, man. Wonderful Nobodies. You could find them at thewonderfulnobodies.com. Mountain Heart. Anything you're going to be out with them? I mean, who knows, I guess, right?
Who knows? There's a few things on the calendar, but
oh, that's great. You ever come down here this way?
We do. It's been a while since we were in Florida, but yeah, we used to. We were around like Plant City and
the Strawberry Festival.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, I know exactly. That's where Jeff plays.
Yeah.
At the
Reba did that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. At the Strawberry Festival. That's right. Every other year they come down. They come down a year, then they skip. And it's really funny, man. At this point, I've had like almost the whole Reba band on. So I used to go, like, we go on the bus, we just talk to Jeff, we have some drinks. Now, last time it was like, I knew everybody in there.
Awesome.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was very cool. And everybody's cool, very nice, as you know.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you come down here, man, you'll be getting a text from me. Yeah, man. Also with Sean Richardson Taylor, what do you guys got going on? I know you enjoy playing with each other.
Yeah, we recorded a little like just guitar like EP and not released it just because it's like the whole point of that was to try and book like duo shows and play out a little bit here and there. So it's kind of just sitting there for now. But yeah,
that one song is beautiful. That Chisholm.
Yeah.
What's the backstory to that?
That Sean also plays with Dailey Vincent, so he joined that band after I left, and I just got to know him. And now they'll take us both out together, just because, I mean, we became friends pretty quick and have tried to work on stuff together.
That's nice.
Forever. Yeah. So we were at their festival a couple years ago, and had like. They got us a room. We had a couple days basically off because we would just go play the show. Our stuff was already set up and we had the rest of the time to do nothing. So we just tried to write guitar stuff during that time. And that was a song that came from that.
Great song, man. I listened to that several times on YouTube. Really good. It's called Chisholm, Chisholm. Is that right? Or Chisholm. And you can find these guys at richardsontaylor.com. And man, is there anything else? Buy a bunch of merch from Sean. Anything else that I could promote for you?
Buy all the merch from every band. It's fine.
Buy all the merch from everyone. And take a picture and send it to these guys, to Sean. Man, thank you for everything. I'll look forward to records from all these places. And I know you'll be back on here in a few years, man. It's exciting to see what happens. You'll probably be in another band by that point in time.
That's my fault. I just start bands.
That's all right, man. That's awesome. Man, any final last words? Anything else you want to say?
I'm thinking about your other final last words.
My other final, what's that?
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Oh, you can
no, it's all good. Man, thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please share it on your social media channels. We appreciate your support. Thanks very much to Seth Taylor. I called you Sean a minute ago. Sorry. Seth Taylor for spending time with us. And check out everything he's got going on. The Wonderful Nobodies, Mountain Heart, and his work with Sean Richardson. It's at Richardson Taylor. And most important, man, especially now, hopefully it's a new year, everything will work. But most important, remember that happiness is a choice. So choose wisely. Be nice, go play your guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I am out. Seth, thank you for everything, brother.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.